Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, January 27th, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on the radio today said the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, predicts an economic growth of 8% for St. Vincent and the Grenadines this year, after a near 6% contraction that was predicted for 2021. PM Gonsalves remains hopeful for the best, especially with the challenges of 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano.
2022, the expectations are that it's going to be better on the economic front. In 2020, our economy contracted by 3.6%. COVID, all the problems. Of course, outside of Guyana, that was the best performance in any CARICOM country. One of the reasons we did better than the others is simply because we didn't lock down, we didn't curfew, we didn't state of emergency. We didn't do any of those things. And we kept things ticking over. In 2021, it's expected that we will improve. Then April came, the eruptions. And by June, all the agencies with which we interact, listen, we are on target this year for a 6% contraction. And then in the latter half of the year, things improved, so much so that by the end of the year, we were up 0.6, 0.7% for this year. It's projected that we'll have about 8% economic growth. That's what the IMF World Bank project.
The Prime Minister said 2022 promises to be a better year for a number of sectors and urged traditional marijuana farmers to reach out to the medical cannabis cultivators to enhance their interactions, as he is also expecting to see growth in the exportation of medical cannabis.
So this year promises to be a better year for construction, tourism, services. All of them, it looks as though we are seeing, we'll see a pickup. I expect to see more exports of medicinal cannabis. I want to use this opportunity to urge the traditional cultivators to enhance their interactions with investors who are doing a lot of heavy lifting in relation to the medicinal cannabis.
Industrial Relations and Research Officer of the SVG Teachers Union, Andrew John, claims there is a shortage of qualified teachers in schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines due to the government's vaccination policy, which he said caused over 200 teachers to lose their jobs. John, who was addressing a news conference hosted by the SVGTU on Tuesday, said with the shortage, they are concerned about students who will be doing their exit examinations, including CPEA, CSEC and CAPE, noting that it will be difficult to prepare students adequately for the upcoming exams.
It's a shortage. We have created a shortage of teachers from the tertiary level right down to the primary level. Because at the tertiary level, you have removed some of the tutors, some of the lecturers who would have been working at the well-qualified persons would have been removed from the system without consideration for replacement. So we have there is a vacuum there which is difficult to fill, a void which we will not have filled in this examination cycle. And so a number for children, just last week I read in the papers where a student from the college was saying she's suffering from lack of tutors, from lack of lecturers. And I know many of us would have read that. And that is in fact the reality that we are in, right? We have a number for secondary schools. They are short staffed, and I think they have tried to answer the call by saying that they would be rehiring retirees.
John also noted that since the reopening of school, there's been several disruptions in the school system due to COVID, which is an indication that even as teachers are vaccinated, the workplace is still not safe as new infections continue to be recorded.
Schools were reopened in full on the 3rd of January. And since that time to now, we have seen severe disruptions in our school system, the way it is supposed to operate. For one, we have had a number of outbreaks in some of the schools, so much so that many of them have either gone back online or they are barely holding on, maybe to save face. They are barely holding on because the population of the student population has been cut sometimes more than in half. The teachers, the teaching population itself have been severely affected. So much so that some principals have been asking to go online, but the ministry has been refusing to permit them to go back online, right? So we see the situation which has developed. Schools are just barely functioning.
In December last year, a number of teachers who did not take the COVID-19 vaccine or did not receive an exemption based on medical or religious grounds were given letters that deemed them to have abandoned their jobs. The government then moved to hire over 200 persons for teaching temporarily. However, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves had indicated that if those who are considered to have abandoned their jobs go and take the vaccine and their post is not yet filled permanently, they can be re-employed. In other news, crime in SVG decreased in 2021 when compared to the previous year. Given some statistics on the radio this week during the Police on the Beat program, Commissioner of Police Colin John said that they recorded a 14% decrease in crime, moving from 5,147 in 2020 to 3,833 in 2021.
For murder, we had this decrease was not that significant, and it's something that we have to work on. We had 34 in 2020. In 2021, we had 31. As I said before, that is something that we, as police officers, we have to work on, because we have to ensure that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not only safe, but it appears to be safe.
Commissioner John attributes the decrease to patrols across SVG and the support from the public.
Implemented some measures. Among them, we have increased the patrols. There are some of the units that were engaged in what we call static duties. They have been freed up, so they're able to conduct patrols in different areas. We have had more input from the members of the public in terms of giving information. Additionally, members of the public were better behaved, if you want for want of a better phrase or terminology. So that also assisted. So I don't want to say, well, it is all because of what the police did, but the public, they themselves, played a significant role in ensuring that the crime situation or the crime stats were reduced.
The police commissioner said keeping the crime rate down is important to promote SVG as a tourism destination, and everyone needs to play their part.
In a lot of cases, the perception can be worse than the reality, and we do not want St. Vincent and Grenadines to be perceived to be an unsafe place. Policing and security is integral to the national economy and ensuring that St. Vincent and the Grenadines prosper as a nation. If the persons in St. Vincent and Grenadines act contrary to that and exhibit significant antisocial behavior and proliferate crimes, then all the advertisement and the promotion done by the tourism department and other persons about St. Vincent and the Grenadines can go to naught. So, as police officers, we have to know our role.
A series of training workshops for fishers throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines on safety at sea, hosted by the government in partnership with the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO, was officially launched today. A number of fishing equipment and communication devices were also handed over to the fisheries department today, which will be distributed to the fishermen taking part in the training workshops. Speaking at the official opening ceremony, local representative of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, Dr. Colleen Phillips, listed the number of fishing gears that will be handed over to the fishermen after the 2 days workshop. Dr. Phillips said that it is a pleasure to be handing over the fishing equipment to local fishers, as safety at sea should be a top priority for everyone.
Life vests, radios, compasses to you, the fisher folk. Safety first is what anyone who works on the sea should see as priority and keep in mind. Safety must be given absolute top priority. We are all aware of the circumstances when we fail to remember that the fishing industry is probably one of the most dangerous of jobs when considered with others in the world. Proper safety measures would save lives, protect vessels from damage. It would prevent serious accidents and injuries, protect the environment, and contribute to a profitable fishing industry.
Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank-Howard gave an overview of the CC4 Fish project, which she noted was launched in Barbados in 2017. She said that the training should have started 1 year ago, but there were several postponements due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano.
At the workshop, work plans were developed and presented by member countries, partner organizations, and key stakeholders. Our key stakeholder there at the time was the Caribbean Network of Fisherfolk Organization. They were the ones who represented the fisherfolks of the region. As field activities as part of the work plan were designed to ensure increased resilience and reduce vulnerability to climate change impacts in the Eastern Caribbean fisheries sector. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as part of its work plan, included the training of fisherfolk in safety at sea. Over the years, the Fisheries Division has been tooling the stakeholders of the fishing industry to assist them in the operations of their businesses through grants, duty-free concession, training, capacity building, and other events.
Cruikshank-Howard encouraged the fishermen to take advantage of the safety equipment that would be handed over to them, especially the communication devices. She further noted that the NTRC will be offering free licenses for the radios that will be handed over to the fishermen.
Fishers, please utilize these equipment wisely. In recent times, we have been having persons going to sea, cannot make contact with their loved ones when they cannot get home on time. And we have our radios, we also have our GPSs and life jackets to assist you in making sure when you go to sea, you are well equipped. We know each person here after the training, they will be getting a number of these supplies. Please, carry them to sea, utilize them. We have the NTRC who will be with us. If not today, tomorrow, who will be doing some more demonstrations. They will be giving us some free licensing of the radios. They will be doing that for us free at this time. We only want you to have them so that you can utilize them. We have had in the past, persons didn't utilize them because they were not licensed. But NTRC has a program in place that they're going to assist us, and we are grateful.
Facilitator of the two-day Safety at Sea training workshop, Petty Officer Grayson Stevens, said it is important that fishermen across SVG understand the importance of having communication devices and a device that will be able to show their location in the event they encountered a problem while fishing in deeper waters.
I'd like to encourage fishermen to know that first and foremost, whenever you decide to go on this job, which is very dangerous, that you need to have some form of communication. Because a lot of times people lose their lives due to the single fact that you have no form of communication, whether it be a cell phone or a radio, and some form of GPS that shows you your actual position. So in the case that you request assistance, you would actually be able to see where your location is. Regarding safety at sea, survival techniques, radio operation, radio etiquettes, that will be over the 2 days, and pretty much give the fishermen a better understanding of how you should react on the radio, how you should use the radio, and regarding if you're broken down at sea, to say how to actually keep yourself safe and alive.
Another facilitator, Lorenzo George, said the main aim of the training is to educate fishermen about the new standards that the Fisheries Division is putting in place and for them to have a positive change in attitude while plying their trade.
Just going to give them a global perspective as to what the safety issues are globally and to more or less address the issues that we are facing here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And at the end of it all, what we are hoping is just to see a change, a positive change in the attitude of our fishermen, because most fishers, as you know, they go to sea, it's their livelihood, and they do not take safety into consideration. So this workshop is going to focus mainly on the safety aspect, the role of the captain, the crew, the do's and the don'ts, and then we're just going to have some basic tips on navigation, because you may have a fishing vessel going out, something may happen to the captain, and then the crew is at loss as to what are the next steps. So in this training, we're going to focus on some of these points that we're going to give them so that they can utilize in the event of an incident at sea. So it's more or less to encourage them to more or less accept, you know, the standards that we're trying to put in place, because, you know, they're a bit iffy, you know.
The two-day training workshop will cover topics such as basic navigation, survival techniques and equipment, engine maintenance and troubleshooting, as well as VHF radio communications and etiquette. The Salvation Army has achieved 95% of its target set for the 2021 Christmas Kittle Appeal. The Christmas Kittle Appeal, which commenced on November 13, 2021 and ended December 31, 2021, had a target of 100,000 EC dollars. Administrator of the Salvation Army, Major Ernest Gachlin, told SVGTV News that he is grateful that they were able to achieve 95% of their target from local and international donors.
Oh, I think the first day or the second day, because of COVID-19, we had to have it for 3 days. Because we did not want to have too many people around us. But it has been very good, I would say. We had a target, yes. We did not meet the target, but I would say that it was very good, because I would say that we meet about 95% of our target with this COVID, and followed by, you know, the volcanic eruption. So I would say that it was very good.
Major Gachlin used the opportunity to thank the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and persons in the diaspora for contributing to the Christmas Kittle Appeal, even in challenging times.
I'm very grateful for the support that we received. I can speak for during my time here over 3 years. I know it had been like that even before I came, but I can speak during for my time here. It has been very good, and we appreciate that, because somebody said to me a few times ago that the Salvation Army does not believe in receiving. I was shocked to hear something like that. I said, well, I don't know how this come, you know, to effect, because even if we receive from God alone, we still receive. And what we give away, we don't make them. So we receive to give, and that's the way it is. We receive one hand and we give away. So I am grateful for the support we receive. I know it is hard for everybody, but the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they are very generous.
The Salvation Army head also expressed love and appreciation to all those who risked their lives in the pandemic to assist with the Christmas Kittle appeal.
We're grateful for those who went on the road to collect during a Christmas activity, because I would say that they risk their lives, not knowing if they will catch the virus. They went, and so it was a risk, but thank God nobody who were helping us, got the virus. So I give God praise for that. We prayed that God will cover them. God did answer our prayer, and He covered them, so none of them, got the virus. We give God praise for that. So we give praise to God for the people of St. Vincent, and we pray that they continue to remain safe.
Major Gatchlin said that the funds will be used to purchase food, providing meals and other items for the less fortunate and vulnerable in the society.
Basically, the fund we raise is to purchase foodstuff to give. Although we did not give the amount of people we normally give, but on that day, for the 3 days, we gave, it was 450. But we kept continuing giving even after, because what you saw here, we didn't have the socials in it, like a mental health, Louis Punnett, and so on. We have about 5 or 6, I could check, 5 or 6 locations that we give, even after we had given the bags. So all that comes from the money that we raise as well.
The annual Beckway Music Festival will not be held this year. In a news release issued today, the Beckway Tourism Association and the Beckway Music Fest Committee said it was their greatest wish to be able to host a simplified version of the festival from February 24th to the 27th. However, the festival will not be possible due to the current COVID-19 protocols in place, as well as the prevalence of the Omicron variant in SVG. The organizers say they are very disappointed to have to make the decision to cancel this year's festival. However, they look forward with great anticipation to hosting the festival from January 25th to the 30th, 2023.